to another Franchise Nutrition and Fitness podcast episode. My name is Ryan. I'm a registered dietitian.
I'm Matt. I'm a certified personal trainer and health coach.
Yeah. And the funny thing with both of what we have going on currently, we were going to try and record some double episodes today, and neither of us feels particularly well.
And it's funny, like if you're watching the video version of this, I realize as I'm looking, I'm like, I know I don't feel well because I see it on my face, and also I'm like, look at the gray in the beard there. That's you can tell. Like, I'm like, I have been a little stressed. So there you go.
Is it stress or just less hair dye?
A little bit of column A, a little bit of column B. But funny enough, I think the gray hairs will transition into our subject that we're talking about today, because we're going to talk about the music we enjoy while working out. And I think some of my favorite stuff is definitely going to age myself, and probably the same for you.
Yeah, absolutely. The funny thing with it, when it comes to music and working out, I think a lot about what the workout is and what it entails. For me, if it's a cardiovascular workout where I'm running, that is going to probably be a different kind of music than when I would be bike riding per se. And those are just two cardiovascular activities. And then with resistance training, I think it depends on kind of the atmosphere that you're in. Like if you can strap on some headphones, it doesn't really matter. But if you are in like your house gym, your home gym, maybe you can crank up the music to a different kind of level and you be kind of immersed in it. But if you're outside, good luck getting immersed in that,
Absolutely. And I think, it's interesting you talk about the dichotomy between the different types of, workout modalities and the music. Like for me with cardio, brothered out knees and ankles and and back and all that stuff. Oftentimes my cardio is a bike or an elliptical or things like that. Things a little bit easier on my joints. My running days are probably behind me. So like, especially on the elliptical, I love to have something visual. Sometimes it will be music though. Like I love, like for instance, around Halloween, I love watching like horror themed music videos. Like give me my Rob Zombie, my Danzig, stuff like that. And I'm very, very happy with that. I'm not coordinated enough to do those videos while running because I can't watch stuff and run at the same time. So it would have to definitely be music. But it also, I equate it to like driving music for myself too. I've always told people if I'm doing a late night drive, like it's this weird switch. Like it's kind of mainstream rock initially, and then the further through the night, the more tired I get. Same with a workout. If I'm not feeling great, it becomes a little bit more like death metal and Norwegian death metal and like just rah. Whereas if I get even more tired, it has to be something that's peppy that can pick me up, that I can sing along to in between sets. So then it becomes like 90s pop and Britney Spears and Backstreet Boys. So it's just this weird loop.
That is a strange loop to go from screaming metal to 90s pop. The kind of what you're talking about there, though, with differences in how you're going about things, needing something visual based. When I am doing like a long distance cardio kind of thing, whether it's an elliptical or running or bike or something, I can do stuff that I can't do when I'm lifting weights. Like I can listen to audiobooks, I can listen to a podcast like the one that you're listening to right now, Franchise Nutrition and Fitness Podcast, available on all podcast platforms. If it's not where your friend listens to, let us know so that way we can get on there.
And I will not advocate to burn down the building of said podcast hosting site anymore because Ryan told me I couldn't. So just FYI, do not burn down any any and all buildings. It's bad.
Yeah, no. The call to actions are not good unless it is those of you listening, go out there and do some activity. Maybe this week add a piece of fruit or vegetable.
Yeah, those are actions we can get behind, John.
Recommending that you do that and give that a try, especially now. It's like this is one of the best times of the year to start getting additional citrus and stone fruits. Just personally advocating for those things. Normally the citrus season is like February to March, but depending on what climate you're in, that might extend a little bit further out to April and May. And also there's like really good warm season vegetables right now. I know it's really odd to
Absolutely.
talk about when we're talking about music, but I mean,
But like no, so it's like this time of year, like some of my favorite seasonal fruit comes out, like a good summer shandy, right? Like that's a good seasonal fruit. Like it's lemon based,
right.
right?
It is, so it's like a lemon soda though. It's not really a lemon. But you can get like peppers are really good right now. Like you get a jalapeno saison, or you live in the Atlanta area, so Jekyll Brewing is available there. Shout out Jekyll Brewing, I support you. They make a really good jalapeno pineapple ale.
I have not had that. I'll have to check that out
Yeah, it's probably
while I'm listening to some of my favorite workout music. There you go. Oh, see, we can circle it back. Like
yeah, yeah.
always back on top.
Yeah, and that's the thing. When it comes to music, it's fluid and it's throughout our lives. It's everyone's around. My wife likes to joke that I live in a perpetual state to some random soundtrack that's in my head. But I feel like everybody probably does. Like you can like just walk along, think about something, you got to tune in your head, you just walk on.
Funny enough, you say that. Like right before we came together for this podcast, I needed to kind of like center myself and like sort of half meditate for a second. And I started telling myself, breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out. So I had to listen to Bush's Machine Head because it got stuck in my head.
Yeah, it just starts happening. It was years ago now. I was at a different hospital than the one that I currently work in. And I had been listening to a lot of Metallica at the gym when I was working out, because I like to listen to like hard rock, heavy metal kind of stuff, not necessarily Norwegian scream metal like Matt was referencing earlier, although I do like some of those bands. But like Metallica is probably it. I can't go up to Pantera level when I'm working out. Like Pantera's a little bit too high on the screaming metal side of things. But I've been listening to a lot of Metallica while I was powerlifting, and then I would get to the hospital and I just had like creeping death pumping in my brain the whole time while I'm walking around. So probably not necessarily the greatest thing to have ringing in your head while you're walking around a
Yeah,
hospital.
it's kind of hard to switch off sometimes from that workout to work mode. So
Amen. When you are a person that looks like they lift in a room full of people that are afraid to touch a weight, they frequently ask you to pick up heavy things. And there are plenty of times when I was asked to go get the 50-pound boxes of paper because they were too heavy, quote unquote, for other people to lift and carry down the hall.
but are 50-pound boxes of paper too heavy for you? Would you like a program that maybe could lead you up to lifting 50-pound heavy boxes of paper? Because we can do that. You don't necessarily have to be an athlete, train like an athlete. We can do that for you. Like
Amen.
we can get to where if that's your goal to be able to lift that 50-pound box of paper, if you work with Ryan and you're like, hey, I need Ryan to do this for me. I don't want Ryan to do this for me. Screw that asshat. We can help you out. Like you don't have to worry about Ryan lifting that paper for you anymore.
Yeah, don't worry about it. I might tell you to break open that box and take each ream of paper and slowly walk them back to the office until you get able to pick up 2 reams of paper.
That's principles of progression. There you go. You've established a program right there to be able to lead up. So we continue adding more and more reams of paper until you've accomplished your goal.
And while you do it, you should listen to Staying Alive by the Bee Gees and try to move at the beat.
And also do CPR at the same time. That's right.
Right.
Like, that's
128 beats per minute for the Bee Gees song. That it helps people stay alive. That's how fast you should be making compressions for CPR.
So full circle, there you go. We talked about paper company, The Office. Now I'm thinking about the Office episode where they're doing Staying Alive with CPR. There you go.
Right. Also, inconveniently for that fact, another one, Bites the Dust, is also 128 bits.
Which is one I would much rather think of because I love me some Queen and Freddie Mercury is a rock god. So
right. I could totally get behind some Queen for certain, like if lifts are not necessarily heavy, but you're trying to get like high reps, I'd definitely do some Queen.
Definitely for a pre-workout, I think We Will Rock You. All no doubt. Like if you're just walking from the locker room onto the gym floor, stick We Will Rock You. Like there's no way not to get pumped up. I think it's scientifically proven that you'll lift 10% heavier after hearing that song.
Right. Do you pre-create workout playlists?
I do at times. It depends on my mood. It depends on what programming I'm doing. Um, Oftentimes I pick out albums instead that I would like to listen to, or artists. Like I love Spotify. Hey, shout out, we're on Spotify. I love Spotify because like this is insert band here. So like you can starts out with usually a lot of their more known stuff, and you get some deeper cuts. But yeah, I definitely have some various different workout playlists I've come up with. Um, One of my favorite things recently has been to create playlists either for concerts I'm going to or concerts I've been to recently. So to look up the set list from the night before I was there or upcoming. Recently saw the Offspring, had that full set list. Had been listening to it during workouts before. I was instantly transported back to 8th grade. It was amazing. So it's nice
I
and
also saw Danzig recently. I'm
I
jealous.
did. I saw Danzig on Sunday Night Danzig and Cradle of Filth. Yeah.
Speaking of metal, so, but man, Danzig, that's awesome.
And I was listening to Danzig actually during my leg workout today because I was inspired after seeing the concert on Sunday. So there you go.
When I moved to Indiana, I love metal. Don't have anything against metal. I had been listening to a lot of Danzig at the time, just like on Pandora or Spotify, those two services. Kind of what Matt's talking about with them. One of the things I like about with Spotify and Pandora is if you're just using the free version and you select a band, you can get songs that are similar to that band, and also you could select songs by that band and get songs that are similar to that song. So that helps get the shuffle going, especially if you don't have, previous podcast episode that we talked about was 30-minute workouts. If you don't have a ton of time, maybe you can't line up something perfectly. Just having a good shuffle of songs that help get you moving and going and help keep you kind of concentrated and in the zone for that. That's really what I think music helps a lot of people with, is their mental capacity to do the work that is going to be desired for them to reach their goal, whatever it is.
Absolutely. You jogged my memory. This is funny that just came up. It's completely pertinent to what we're talking about. So it's weird, like for me to be jogged my memory for something that actually is on point. But I used to manage a corporate fitness center, and they had this weird rule that they couldn't have music playing that had any lyrics to it whatsoever. So it was all these instrumental things. And like my favorite is they had like this like dance mix instrumental TV show themes. And like there's the Dance Mix X-Files theme. I thought it was fantastic. And so, but like they only had like it was literally out of a boombox of a CD player. That tells you how long ago this was. And we only had like 4 different CDs. So it would drive you nuts. So you work there for 8 hours. Each one of these CDs is maybe 45 minutes. So like you're looping these CDs around, multiple times every day. You're not getting any new CDs in rotation. So if there's nobody in the fitness center, you're turning it down, you're enjoying some peace and quiet. So had somebody come to the fitness center, just one person in there. I still had it down, whatever. Like hopefully she had headphones, whatever. Nope. She hops on the elliptical. She said, "Hey, can you turn up the music?" And like I turn it up. She's like, "Yeah, that's what gets me going. That's my jam." And I'm like, I will buy you a pair of headphones. Like if that's what gets you motivated to work out. But who knows? Like if that's what somebody's judging me for getting motivated by Britney Spears, Backstreet Boys, or Cradle of Filth. Like,
everybody's different. Everybody has their thing, which is where headphones really help out in public spaces.
Absolutely, that's a whole different podcast. I literally searched on Amazon loudest Bluetooth speaker and have one sitting in my wish list. And I may or may not have created a playlist on Amazon. Or not on Amazon, on Spotify, where you can find us.
We're on Amazon Music. We're on Amazon Music.
So yeah, so I'll create it on there too. So the playlist may or may not be called, this is not a family podcast. So it may be called "Fuck You and Your Fucking Bluetooth Speaker, You're Gonna Learn, Motherfucker." So
yeah, that is an interesting playlist title. So thinking about fitness centers and things, Matt and I both went to the University of Georgia. If you didn't already know, if this is your first podcast,
watching the visual, yeah, I've got my nice little polo on. Go Dogs.
Yeah, we may support them if you see these pennants behind my shoulder. But we both worked out of the Ramsey Student Center at the University of Georgia, and that is one of the greatest university exercise facilities.
We talked about on a previous podcast. Yeah, like it forever spoiled me. I belong to a really nice health club now, and it's still not nearly as nice as the
Yeah.
Ramsey Student Center.
It's the weirdest thing, but when you get like lots of money and student funds to be able to pay for stuff at cost, it's going to be easy to get the greatest stuff. And also they have grants where they can do studies and things and they get equipment for that. But one of the things that always annoyed me was early Saturday morning workouts. Matt and I would get in there, quote unquote, early. They didn't open until 8 or 9. I can't remember. But we would get in there like as soon as they would open on Saturday. And depending on who was at the front, they had some of the softest music ever played in a gym. And everybody in there was just looking around like, who is playing this music? Who is playing Enya right now at 9 o'clock in the morning? Or what was your night like last night? Are you just trying to go back to sleep?
I mean, you've got to mellow out on a Saturday morning in a college town. Come on, man. Like I get it. Like they were a little hungover. Like you couldn't crank out the stuff. My favorite was like 6 a.m. When they opened like during the week. I think it was like either Tuesday, Thursday, Monday, Wednesday. It was 90s alternative. So you go in there and Eddie Vedder's belting out, some Pearl Jam lyrics stuff. That was always cool. I was always down with that.
Yeah, you can't go wrong with that. But if you had to just listen to a single album, just one album straight through, end to end workout, what would be the one album that you pick?
So my perfect workout album also coincides with my perfect favorite album of all time. Like if anybody asks what the absolute best album is for anything, I hand them this one, and it is Guns N' Roses' Appetite for Destruction. Like you think about that was their first album. It's insane to think how many hits came off of that, how it just perfectly flows, how there's no downtime, how it's a perfect workout album because there's really no rest period. It's like you're constantly amped up. It makes you want to run through a wall. It makes you want to bench press 5 gazillion times your body weight. So to hear Axl Rose belting it out, Slash on the guitar, and then like when they released the extended edition a couple of years ago and put an unreleased track that they cut off of it, it's like even that's perfect. Like it's a perfect album in the end. So that's definitely mine. So what about yours? I think we've discussed this a little bit before. I think yours is a lot different genre than mine.
Right. So just quick facts for that. The Appetite for Destruction runtime per Google is 53 minutes and 52 seconds.
That is absolutely the perfect workout for me. So either if you want to do a long strength training workout, boom, 53 minutes. If you want to go 30 on the strength, 20 on the cardio, boom, you've got a full 50-minute workout right there for the perfect album. So listen to this podcast, go in there, try Appetite tomorrow morning, tomorrow afternoon, whenever you're working out, and let me know what you think.
Right. So my album is 37 minutes and 45 seconds.
Oh, so you got a friggin' go on your album. All right.
Yeah. So I'm going with Hybrid Theory by Linkin Park. End to end, 37 minutes, 45 seconds. If you step in a gym and you are crushing it and you could be doing like an every minute on the minute or EMOM, or you have a quick body weight set that you're doing things through. If you warm up appropriately, so it's going to take you 2 to 5 minutes, and then you actually stretch at the end, which is another 2 to 5 minutes, that's going to give you like a 30-minute workout.
Oh yeah. So like that circles back into our podcast we did a while ago about the 30-minute workout. So maybe you've listened to these 2 podcasts, boom, meld them together. Listen to Hybrid Theory. And if it's a leg workout, maybe you will be crawling when you walk out of the gym. So there you go.
Nice. Good. But you could always be prepping yourself on a night train with Appetite for Destruction. So
we have stories about Night Train that probably are not safe to share on this podcast.
Maybe not at this time, but the quotes, "It tastes like college," is totally true. And, you can just keep rocking and rolling, and it's going to be totally fine. Rock and roll. You may have a hot dog. You may lose your hot dog. It's fine.
Oh, there's like maybe one person listening to this podcast that understands that reference, but I'm all for
it. Yeah, maybe on another time. We did do the alcohol episode last time, so go back and check that out. I want to say it's episode 7, alcohol, nutrition, fitness basics. But with music and everything, I do think that there is an interesting thing to think about for those of you out there that like to listen to things on a long distance stuff. My sister-in-law is a physical therapist, and we were talking about running cadence. And apparently, the studies currently out there suggest that 180 steps per minute is the best, quote unquote, best rate of running cadence. So that will, it's supposed to be that's going to help you move most easily while you're running. So that way you're not overstriding or understriding, which can cause different bodily injuries, which is why she has that physical therapy background. But there is no music outside of electronic dance music that's going to get you at 180 beats a minute. Like it's just no way possible. So man,
So you got to run with the glow sticks, and yeah, that sounds awesome.
I've been really into synthwave recently, which is like 80s synth, but with people trying to be like they're in the 80s. And I find that incredibly entertaining. But if you had one song, Matt, this is going to be our last thing. We're going to wrap this up. If you had one song that, let's say you're setting up for your last set or you're going for your 1 rep max, what song do you play?
Ooh! Now see that wasn't part of our prep work coming into this week because we talked album and stuff. So I'm putting me on the spot. Holy shit!
And that's just what it.
So gun to my head, like the first one that comes to my head is Metallica "Seek and Destroy." Because I want to seek and destroy. I'm ready to kill it.
So going back, this some people may be offended, but I disagree with you. You should probably look at the case.
But you know it's a good song when that's the setup. All right.
The entrance music for Chris Benoit is like the
Ryan's opinions do not reflect the opinions of Matt.
I'm just saying there's some questionable facts around that thing.
I really hope that we have which is so weird for me to say this, but I really hope we don't have wrestling fans that listen to our podcast. So people are just like, Chris Benoit, I don't know who that is, and it's cool. They'll never research it.
Hey, there's somebody that's listening to this in Canada.
No, Our Lady Peace is amazing. I will give you that. Like, it's awesome. You could just said Our Lady Peace, whatever. That would have been cool.
Our Lady Peace, whatever. But thinking about it,
our little secret.
Like, Rabbit Wolverine, it's time to go. I'm gonna hit this lift. It's gonna work out. I'm gonna get there.
So funny enough, you mentioned that song. I used to actually use that song as a warm up on leg day. God, I hate that I'm even referencing him, but you did it. So here we go. You open up a floodgate. Because there were always so many stories about how much he loved just body weight squats. Like he would use them for his warm ups. He would use them all the time. He'd use them as punishment if he ever effed up anything in a match, like body weight squats. So used to on my leg days, I would see how many body weight squats I could do as my warm up while listening to that entire song. So there you go.
Man. That's a workout in itself. This
song, no, it was like not
3 or 4 minutes long.
Yeah, it was just under 4. So yeah, there were times, I'm doing like 200, 250 body weight squats to get started. And then,
there's I can't remember what the name of it is. I want to say, I'm going to look at the book title real fast. I want to say it's called Combat Conditioning. Yeah, Combat Conditioning, Functional Exercises for Fitness and Combat Sport by
Chris Benoit.
No, it's not by Chris Benoit. Sorry, I should have had this looked up before. It's an old book. Yeah, it came out in 2004 by Matt Fury, F-U-R-E-Y.
So no relation to Nick Fury then. Gotcha.
Maybe. I don't know. It's the E that throws him off. They're just from a different country. It's actually connected by cousins. But this book was recommended to me by, man, I'm blanking on his name. Chris Benoit wrestled this man in a tribute match to
Brian Pillman.
Brian Pillman.
William Regal, who wrestled.
William Regal. That's it. William Regal recommended this book to me.
Just a huge part of All Elite Wrestling right now. Like, member of the Blackpool Combat Club. Fantastic promos every week. I know Ryan doesn't really follow wrestling anymore. I do, because Tony Khan, if you're somehow listening to this, I worked for you a little bit. Please rehire me. No, you bought Ring of Honor, and
yeah. So William Regal recommended it. I was about to say his other name.
Steven Regal, Lord Steven Regal.
Yeah. I was like Lord Regal. It's like, that's not what he goes by anymore. But he recommended this book to me, and I remember checking it out from the library because they had.
I remember libraries. That's weird. So archaic.
Came out in 2004. I remember checking it out from the library, and it really is everything that Chris Benoit, William Regal, WWE Fitness Center does. It's all body weight stuff, Hindu squats, neck bridges, push-ups, Hindu push-ups, which are like a weird,
like the dive bomber push-ups.
Right. Yeah, like you're doing like all of these things, and it's just all these things. But he's like, if you want to be a great wrestler, you have to be able to do 200 of all of these things. And I was like, I understand, but that's not really going to be beneficial, like transitional to doing 200 Hindu squats. Like, when are you going to do 200 Hindu squats in a match? Like, come on, man.
I mean, so like, I will say this, because like I like the idea of like doing burpees or doing things like that, to where it's a lot of up down, because there is a lot of up down. It does kind of correlate. I do enjoy stuff like that because it's a great way if you don't have any equipment and you're trapped in a hotel room. For instance, a couple of years ago in Japan, it's a whole different story. But
if you're currently in Shanghai, China, and you're still locked down.
But yeah, like when I was in Tokyo, so if you're watching the video, I purposely knew from stories of friends that they wouldn't let you into the gyms if they could see your tattoos. So I had sleeves on. I normally work out sleeveless, but thought I was good. But shirt was apparently this length. Walked in, they're like, no, you can't come in. I was like, but you got like a pro shop right over there. I'll buy a long sleeve shirt. They're like, no, you still can't come in, because obviously Batman tattoos equal Yakuza. So yeah, when I had to do
beard like yours is definitely a Yakuza.
So when I had to work out in my small little hotel room, like I did stuff like that. It was a great way to get the heart rate up. Great way.
Yeah. I don't disagree with it in a total, but have to do 200 in a row. I don't.
It's all about your current level of conditioning and what's best for you. Kind of going back to programming to circle it back up. 200 is not difficult for some people. 200 is incredibly difficult for some people.
Yeah.
Why is 200 that benchmark?
Did you get through all of those reps inside of Seek and Destroy? Can you possibly do every single? I mean, you might be able to. Seek and Destroy is pretty long.
Seek and Destroy is like a 6-minute song. Yeah. So yeah.
You might be able to get through like
the 200 squats and 200 Hindu push-ups, and push-ups maybe not. Like, I got to take some breaks with that.
No, but you might be able to get the squats in.
Yeah, I think squats I could, because the squats, like I said, I want to say I was getting like 200 squats in with just whatever, which is like 4 minutes. So yeah, I got time to spare.
Yeah. So you could totally do that. Seek and Destroy. The next time when you guys out there, we should do that as like a challenge. Like, how many?
That's our franchise nutrition and fitness challenge. You got it right there. Like, pick a song, see how many of one exercise, bodyweight exercise you can do.
Right. Let us know the song. Let us know the amount of time that it took you for like the song, and how many reps of whatever exercise you got.
And we can see if we can challenge each other. We can challenge each other in the group. We can, throw down the gauntlet and go, hey, I got 200 on whatever, beat me.
Yeah.
Hey, I got 300 on Seek and Destroy, beat me. And you may have helped somebody else get a little bit of motivation.
Yeah. Go on over to Facebook, Achieve Elite Performance by Franchise Nutrition and Fitness. Join the group. If you have any questions about anything we talked about today, just go over to franchisenutritionandfitness.com and send us a message over there. Or you can hit us up on Facebook or Instagram. We're on there, Franchise Nutrition and Fitness. And let us know. Let us know what your favorite workout album is. Like, if you had one album to choose from, what album would it be that you could get your workout in? Other than that, you got anything else to add, Matt?
how can I beat that? I think that kind of encompasses everything we talked about.
All right. Remember, maximize every bite, maximize every rep.